Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of our AI-102 playlist. So those who are new to our playlist, let me show you like how valuable our playlist is. As you can see, many have already passed the exam and they found the like exact case study question which involves like 6 to 7 questions in it. And just wanted to clear one thing, he told me to add more drag and drop question. So what I did, I changed the format of drag and drop question to like some like normal questions, so you get the concepts more instead of analyzing like format and you just click it. My main intention is that you understand the concepts. Like even he mentioned like a drag and drop questions are same, but the attempt is different. Okay, so just I change the format, but the concept will remain same. If you done all the questions, then you are definitely going to pass with a very good exam. And like currently our playlist is in progress, so he did not get all the 100% question, but once we are done, I am 100% sure you will be able to solve 100% question through the concept I explained in this playlist video. And already Harshit has passed this exam, you can see Baruni has passed this exam, and Arif already passed the exam. So there are multiple members who passed this exam. Also, recently, I did not remember the name of this guy, but he also passed with a very good score. So you can like go through these video and understand the explanation. That would be like much better to do like 100% of question and get a good score in this exam. So without any further delay, let's get started. So we are already done till the question number 20. Let's start with the 121. You need to measure the public perception of your brand on social media. So you see how they have actually implemented the like regular use case or practical use case, which we generally used in day-to-day work, and how AI is going to solve that problem. Okay, to by using natural language processing, which Azure service should you use? Okay, so this is a like a very simple question, most of like a theoretical question. So is it language service? Of course, because language service can perform like multiple tasks, including this natural language processing capabilities, right? It can do sentiment analysis, it can do key phrase extraction, it can do text analytics. So language service can do all of this, and it can easily measure the public perception utilizing these different capabilities by natural language processing. Okay. Next is content moderator. We already know like what content moderator do. It basically moderate the content, basically detect the inappropriate language or image in your content. So that's not what we want. We want to measure the public perception. Many people got confused. Okay, there is a social media. Maybe we want to moderate. Just understand the question carefully. It just wanted to measure the public perception, because there are other questions also regarding social media where you have to moderate the content of social media. So their content moderator will come in picture, and it's a latest service, so most people just in the hurry just choose this. Okay, so it is very important to read the question carefully in one go, because time is also less in the exam. So I hope you follow all these instruction. And because I keep asking the new members who just passed this examination, okay, what you learn from this exam and how you find the playlist, how can I improve the playlist. So from them I got this feedback. So that's why while is this playlist is in the continuation, I just keep guiding you that as well. Okay. Next is computer vision. So we already know like computer vision provides us the image processing capabilities. It can do OCR, it can do object detection and multiple forms. Even though computer vision can be helpful, but social media is more about a text based content. Okay, so we have to analyze the content. Even though there are images, but these are just for the sharing different content. It does not build the you cannot find out the public perception by you analyzing those images. It is just for the sharing content between them. But we want to analyze of our brand, okay, how our brand is doing. So that conversation is mostly text based, so we have to perform sentiment analysis or perception analysis. So for that, definitely computer vision is not the right service. Language service is the perfect solution for us. Next is form recognizer, which is also known as document intelligence right now. It can come by both the names. Okay. In exam, I have recently talked with some student and they already told me like even content moderator is named as AI content safety now, but still it is coming with the name of content moderator. So you should be familiar with the both names, old name and as well as the new name. Okay. So form recognizer is it is like a same document intelligence service. It is used to extract information from structured forms or structured documents. Okay. So this is definitely not going to help us, and language service is the right solution for us. So yes, this is absolutely correct. Next is you are building a chatbot. You need to use the content moderator API to identify aggressive and sexually explicit language. Okay, so we have to identify both aggressive and sexually explicit language. Which two settings should you configure? Okay, so there is an image given, actual image of the content moderator, how we set it. So what basically settings you need to configure so that we can identify aggressive and sexually explicit language. So there are like multiple things, autocorrect. No, we don't want to do autocorrect. Our main aim is to find out sexually aggressive, sexually explicit and aggressive language. Okay. And PII. So PII we already know it is for the like identify personally identified information. That's what PII stand for, personally identifiable information. Next is list ID. So this is used for the custom list of terms which you want to filter out. Okay. And this is an optional term basically, and it will not you help you for the general identification of aggressive or explicitly language until you like have specific things in mind. Okay. This specific terms I want to filter out. But here I want to filter out the general aggressive or sexually explicit language. So that I want to basically figure out, which we can do using classify. Okay, so classify setting allows you to classify the text input based on the various categories, including like aggressive and sexually explicit language. So we are going to enable it just like here in our case, we enable it false, we will enable it to true. And by this, it will enable the content moderator API to analyze and flag inappropriate content effectively. Okay. And next is language. So this will help us to specify what kind of language of the text input is going to be earned. So while we can specify will help in the accuracy, but it is not going to help you in finding this explicitly language. Okay. So yeah, this is also not going to help us. So one classify I identified. Next is the content type. So content type, it's already takes plain given, okay, what type of content it is going to be. And next is OCP APIM subscription key. So yes, this is also required as this is the subscription key we are going to use for authenticate request for this our content moderator API, correct? And it is really necessary to perform any moderation task through content moderation. So my answer is going to be classify and okay, where is classify? Classify and OCP APIM subscription key. So yes, absolutely correct. So let's move on to the next question. You granted reader access to a fellow group of users to allow them to search service operation such as index management and querying search data. However, user provided feedback that they are unable to perform the intended function. Okay. So you already granted the reader access, so they should do like ideally they should be able to do index management and querying search data, but they are unable to do due to some unknown reason. Which action would you perform to address the concern? Okay. So what could be the reason for that? Even though you provided the reader access, because reader can should be able to do like at least allow the search operation, index management, and query the search data. So why you are not able to do that? First is use API key to grant access for content operation on the service. So yes, API keys are really necessary because these are used to authenticate requests to like Azure Cognitive Search or Azure AI Search now. They are basically required to like perform any kind of operation, just like here we required index management and for the query of search data. So if you want to do anything related to search service endpoint, Then API key is the sole mechanism for authenticate those inbound requests. Okay, and it is required for every request. So API key is definitely a mandatory thing here. Next is grant contributor role to the group of users through the IAM page of the resource group in the Azure portal. So this role, however, allows you to manage resources, like you can create the resource and delete the search service. But for the search service operation, it is controlled through API keys. So API key is the mandatory thing here. Okay. So definitely with the reader access also you can perform all these tasks, but for that also you require the API key. Okay. And it is going to be like over privilege, which we don't want to perform. Okay. Next is use a service principal to grant access for the content operation on the service. So yes, service principal are used to authenticate applications on service in Azure, but they are used to manage access to the Azure resources. But for the search operation specifically, it requires API key as we discussed. Okay. So even though they also provide access, but for the search operation, API keys are mandatory. Next is grant owner role to the group of users. So this is also over privilege. We don't want to give it. So definitely first is my answer. Let's see it. So yes, this is absolutely correct. You are building a social media extension that will convert text to speech. Okay. The solution must meet the following requirement. What are requirements? Support messages for up to 400 characters. Okay, provide users with multiple voice options. Okay, minimize the cost. Okay, so pre-built service I guess we are going to use. You create an Azure cognitive service resource. So Azure Cognitive Service is now Azure AI service, okay, which speech API endpoint provides user with the available voice option. So let's go through all of the options and see which one is correct. So first one is it is utilizing cognitive service, okay, and it is utilizing speech to text, okay, but we want to do text to speech. So this is definitely going down by answer. Okay, so don't get confused. Okay, in a hurry you will see, okay, speech to text, I will go with this. Okay. Next is it is custom voice. So custom we want to minimize the cost. So definitely this is not going to be answer. And it is also doing the text to speech, but it is also doing long audio synthesis, which is for the like higher end of solution. And we want to just support up to 400 characters. So that is not going to help us. Okay, for our specific requirement. Next is TTS. So this is for the text to speech TTS cognitive service. Yeah, that's what basically we want. And voices slash list. Okay. So this endpoint basically help us to retrieve the all available service for the text to a speech API and allow the users to choose from the list. Okay, which voice option you want to select. So this is perfect answer for us, and it gives us various option voice option to the user, and which will help us in like choosing the multiple options in a cost effective manner. Next is it is for the voice cognitive service deployment ID. So yes, this also can do it, but it is related to some specific deployment. Okay, and it also does not meet our requirement of multiple voice to list, basically provide user option of multiple list. It does not mention that anyway. So this is also not going to be my answer. So let's see it. So yes, this is absolutely correct. So under classification in the text moderation API response, what type of value is returned for each category? Okay. So we already know this is a very simple question that it is going to return us a confidence score which lies between from 0 to 1. Okay. So like for each category we are going to answer it, and 0 it means AI is not sure, okay, what it is giving. It is 100% confident it is not matching with that category. And 1 it is 100% confident, okay, yes, it is perfectly belong to this category. So this is like a very simple answer, 0 to 1. So let's move to the next question. You plan to use a language understanding application named app1 that is deployed to a container. App1 was deployed by a language understanding authoring resource, lu1. App1 has the following version in the table. Okay, we have version 1.2, 1.1, 1.0, and its training date is not defined, publish date is not defined for 1.2. 1.1 it is defined, it is the 10th of 2020, and for the it is 9th September month 2020. So and publish date for version 1.2 and 1.1 is not there, so they haven't been published because it is not also trained. But this version has been trained, but it is not published yet, means it is not deployed yet, but it has been developed. Okay, and one version 1.0, it is been developed as well as it has been published as well. Okay, you need to create a container that uses latest deployable version of app1. Okay, so it says latest deployable version. Okay, so 1.1 also can be deployed, but it is not deployed yet, but it can be deployed. Okay, so this is a deployed version and it is of the latest month compared to 1.0. Okay, which three actions should you perform in the sequence? Okay, so let's see what version we already know, like we are going to select version 1.1 because we want to use the latest deployable version. So 1.1 is my answer, and I can see like rest option are not belongs to it. So, but we are still going to discuss it. Like export the model by using the export for the container zip option. So yes, there are two options available. One is gzip and one other one is JSON, but the export for container gzip option is specifically designed for the container deployment which we want, right? We want to create a container which utilize the latest deployable version. Okay, so this option is also going to necessary. Okay, first we select the version, then we are going to export it for the containers, and then we are going to run a container and mount the model file. And so let's see other option, run a container, mount the model file. It has same option, run a container that has a version set as an environment variable. So we already selected the version, and also mounting the model file is required as we already exported it. So we should mount it to make the container run. Okay, so absolutely first option is definitely going to be my answer. Yes, this is absolutely correct. Next option is you need to build a chatbot that meets the following requirement. First is support chit chat, knowledge base, and multilingual models. Okay. Next is perform sentiment analysis on user message and select the best language model automatically. What should you integrate in the chatbot? Okay, so we have given multiple services. So let's discuss them. So Q&A maker. So yes, Q&A maker will allow the chatbot to answer question based on a knowledge base. So this is the like main use of Q&A maker. So it will help you to provide accurate answers. So Q&A maker, I'm definitely going to choose it. It will help us to deal with this knowledge based queries. Next is language understanding. So yes, language understanding also is a perfect service which will enable the chatbot to like understand the intent of the user input, making it very suitable for the chit chat, and it also support the multilingual models. Okay, so Louis or language understanding service is definitely going to help in that. Next is dispatch. So dispatch help in routing querying to the correct service. So some might get confused. Okay, it will help us in selecting the best language model because it can route the queries to the correct service. But here we are already utilizing language understanding Lewis service, which can handle the language model selection automatically. Okay, so this is not what we required. Next is translator. So we don't need translator as Lewis can also handle the multilingual support. Next is speech. So speech service is we already know convert from speech to text and vice versa, and does not require anything to do with all these three requirements here. Okay. Next is text analytics. Yes, so we do require text analytics as we talked multiple times. It will help us in performing sentiment analysis because this is a part of NLP processing, like natural language processing, and text analytics can perform the all NLP capabilities like sentiment analysis, key phrase extraction, language detection, and much more. Okay, so these three services I'm going to choose it. Move ahead to the next question. It's a code question. You need to create a new resource that will be used to perform sentiment analysis and optical character recognition, OCR. Okay, so we have to utilize both the capabilities. The solution must meet the following requirements. Use a single key and endpoint to access multiple service. So this we question like we have already done. If you want to utilize single key and endpoint, then you have to use Azure AI service or Azure Cognitive Service. But basically both are same, just the like old name is the Azure Cognitive Service and new name is Azure AI Service. Okay. And you also utilize the consolidated billing for future services. that you might use. Okay, so for this also cognitive service will be able to do so because it is utilizing anyway single key and endpoint also, and also support the use of computer vision in the future. Okay, so before that we will look into the code. How should you complete the blank one of the HTTP request to create the new resource? Okay, so here is our request and we are trying to create a new resource which can satisfy these requirements. Okay, so fart should come in the blank one. Okay, so here it is calling the cognitive service API. So let's see how what should come here. So what are the options? Post, put, and patch. So this is a basic developer question. You should know like what is the difference between post, put, and patch. So for that, if you have utilized like Postman or any other scenarios in real world, you know that put method is more suitable for this condition and basically to create any new service or resources, because if you are utilizing put method and any resource already exists, so what will it will do? It will update it, and if does not exist, it will create a new one. Okay, which is the like appropriate condition. So put method is always recommended over post when you are creating a new resource in Azure. Okay, as it will ensure that your resource is has to be created even if it does not exist. Here in our case it will going to create cognitive service resource, so I'm going to select the put, and this is going to be my answer. So yes, this is absolutely correct. So what should come in the blank do? I hope this is the next question. Yes. So what should come here? What is the kind? We already know if you want to utilize a single key and endpoint and consolidate billing. So cognitive service is definitely going to be my answer, and it can involve computer vision for the future as well. It basically consolidate all the AI capabilities into it. Okay. So yes, cognitive service is the right answer. Next is you successfully run the following HTTP requests where key 2 is the secondary subscription primary. So there is the like our HTTP request, and it is basically utilizing same, but it is here it is utilizing post method, and for the cognitive service, and here we are regenerating a key, and we are passing the key here. So what is the result of the request? Okay, a key for the cognitive service was generated in the key vault. We did not doing anything here with the key vault, so that is definitely not going to be my answer. Next is a new query was generated. So query keys are used for the specific purpose in search, Azure search, but here we are talking about regenerating a subscription key, not a query key, right? So this is also not going to be right answer. Next is the primary subscription key and the secondary subscription key were rotated. So no, that was also not a case, because here as we can see in the request, there is no mention of primary subscription key. We are just mentioning the secondary subscription key only. And if you want to rotate, it involves the both the key. And here we are specifically target to key 2, which is a secondary subscription key. So yes, the answer would be secondary subscription key was reset. And this HTTP request is also used practically in real world to basically reset any subscription key. We have to do similar like this. Okay, so let's see it. So yes, this is absolutely correct. I hope you are enjoying this playlist. Make sure to comment below and let me know. Yes, you are following this series. So I also feel more motivated to publish more videos regularly. See you guys in the next one.